Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 314. I've got 4 steps to help you reclaim control over your life. I know that so many people are out there. It just feels like your foot is on the gas pedal, mashing it to the floor, but your hands are not on the steering wheel. And I'm going to help you correct that today, my friends. But first, let's talk a little bit about this live event I've got coming up in October. I am fired up. Tickets are live. Get out there and get them. millionpoundmission.com. You can see the amazing speaker lineup, which I keep adding to. My goal is to have 12 to 15 total speakers and presenters there for you guys to just drop the knowledge bombs. We've got a 2-day event. Last year, we only did 1 day. So I'm just excited at the amount we've been able to level up with this coming year. We've got an amazing event space. I'm going to knock your socks off. So if you're looking for a little bit of motivation, a little bit of inspiration, especially if you're in the Midwest, again, like I talked about last year, normally you have to travel to like Florida or California or the East Coast to see this caliber of an event. Right. And a lot of us in the Midwest, we have to travel. We got to go down to Texas for KetoCon. We got to go to Florida or California for Metabolic Health Summit. But those of us in the Midwest, we can, if it's drivable to get to Bloomington, Indiana, if you're within I had people drive 8, 9, 10, 15 hours last year to get here. People flying down from Canada to get here to see this lineup. So if you are drivable, this is a must. This is a must. So to get all the details, check it out, millionpoundmission.com. Also, I want to welcome you if you're a brand new, hopeful subscriber to this show, if you're checking it out for the first time. We've got a lot of episodes. This is episode 314. And I'm hearing a lot of you guys that are coming in new. You're like, dude, so many episodes, Adam. What do I do? My recommendation at this point is go back at episode 300 and go forward from there. And episode 300 is a great interview I did with Dr. Jamie Seaman. Episode 302, I talk about my story. That's kind of a reintroduction episode, and move forward from there. And then once you get caught up from that point, you could bounce backwards and start at episode 1 if you want to. That's what I do when I am really getting into a show. I dabble around with a few choice topics in the more recent episodes. Then if I'm all in, it's like, all right, let's go back to episode 1 and blast forward from there. I know a lot of you guys have done that, so much appreciated on those download donations. And then last thing, before we dive into the topic today, don't forget we are actually tracking this Million Pound Mission. And without your weight loss donations, I will never hit this goal. We will never hit this collective goal. So head on over to millionpoundmission.com. At the bottom of the page, you can donate your weight loss. If you've listened to this show, implemented and lost 8 pounds, please go and donate those pounds. You can donate as often as every 2 weeks. So if you have not donated in a while, please help us do that. I'm not going to ask for your email. I don't need a credit card. There's no barrier of entry. You go to the bottom of the page on millionpoundmission.com. You donate the weight loss that you've experienced, and you will see it being added to our total. All right. I really want to make a push for 100,000 pounds. We're going to cross that barrier in 2020, and I can't do it without you guys. All right. Back to the topic, the 4 steps to reclaim control over your life. Like I said in the very beginning of the intro, I know that this is a thing. This is a thing that we all go through as human beings, where we kind of start going through the motions of life, and then all of a sudden we realize we're no longer in control of our destiny. And some people just succumb to that. They just say, okay, that's just how it is. And let me tell you, my friend, that is not how it is. That is not how it has to be. And I'm going to give you a few very simple but not easy action steps, some things to think about. If you truly, truly want things to change, if you feel like you are not in control of these main areas of your life that we're going to talk about, then, for things to change, you have to change. So that's the first commitment I'm going to need you to make today, is that listening to this and being entertained, that's one thing, that's all well and good. But if you truly want to ignite change in your life, you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to get a little bit uncomfortable even, all right? Okay, so let's dive in to these 4 steps. The first step is we have to embrace struggle. We have to let go of the victim mindset. There is a great Joe Rogan, just like inspirational video. If you just Google search Joe Rogan hero or Joe Rogan hero of your own movie, but he goes into this very it's just awesome. It's very inspirational. So just check that out. But he talks about being the hero of your own movie. If you're playing the victim, you can't also be the hero at the same time. So if you're out there pointing that finger of blame outward and saying, oh, my boss is this and that, and I can't, my time isn't my own. I'm out of control of my time because of my boss or my family or my kids. And instead, we have to turn that finger of responsibility and own our situation and say, okay, what can I do about this? What can I control? What is out of my control? And one of the things we can always control is our mindset. And in that mindset, we can flip that switch from victim to victor, from victim to hero. And that's the first thing we really have to consider as we embrace struggle and let go of that victim mindset. If you're out there blaming everyone else for the way your life is going, you are giving everyone else control over your life. That's exactly what we're talking about today, is reclaiming control. All right? So we have to let go of that victim mindset. We have to be the hero of our own movie. We have to realize that we aren't owed anything. All right? As we embrace struggle, the fruits of our struggle will be paid back in non-congruent amounts. Like, it's not just like, okay, I have exercised for 6 hours, therefore I will lose 10 pounds. And every time I exercise 6 hours, I lose 10 pounds. People get in this mindset of, I'm working so hard, I am owed X amount of weight loss because my friend did an 8-week boot camp and they worked hard and they lost 25 pounds. How come I worked my butt off for 8 weeks and I only lost 15? I am owed what my friend did. And then in that whole scenario, we neglect the results that we achieved. We don't realize that we need to be proud of our own results, our own body, our own situation. And because maybe your friend lost 25 pounds, but maybe you lost 15 pounds, but you put on 10 pounds lean muscle at the same time. And that's probably a better result. So we have to get out of our own head and realize that we aren't owed anything. I see people quit all the time. Like, I'm working so hard at XYZ, whether it's your job, your relationships, your career, I realize it's the same as your job, your health. The PhD gets on a rant sometimes, and I don't know what comes out of my mouth until I say it. So we get going and we're working hard and we just feel like we are owed a specific result. And that's just not how life works sometimes. And they'll quit. I was talking to a client recently that really was feeling this. Like, I'm working so hard. How come I only lost XYZ weight? And I'm like, that's just not how it works. What are the options? Quit or keep putting in work, right? We know we aren't doing, if we're eating healthy, if we're working out and we're being smart with that, we're listening to our body, we're keeping stress levels low. We know that those aren't things that are going to harm us. Those aren't things that are going to pull us in the wrong direction. So why not keep going and let go of all this I'm owed results mindset, right? The results will come as long as you keep showing up for yourself. All right. So next little micro bullet point underneath embracing struggle and letting go of the victim mindset is we have to stop waiting for perfect. We have to stop waiting for easy. We have to stop waiting for less busy to happen. Right? 10 years ago, things weren't perfect. Things weren't easy. Things weren't less busy. 10 months ago, same thing. 10 months from now, same thing. 10 years from now, same thing. And I fall victim to this as much as anybody does, as much as you guys do. All right. Like I thought, my gym situation, owning the gym, that was really stressing me out. And I was like, all right, once I sell the gym, things will be perfect. Things will be easy. Things will be less busy. Oh, and I'm just laughing as I say those words because it's not how it is, right? The busyness, the imperfection, the difficulty, all those things will fill the cracks of our life no matter what. And the key is we got to stake our claim in the ground of what belongs to us. And this is part of reclaiming control over our life. And that means we have to get started, regardless of whether things are perfect or not. The schedule, the stars haven't aligned. And we have to quit waiting for that easy, like, oh, my life will be easy. I can actually enjoy life when. Instead, start enjoying life now. Reclaim control of that part of your life. All right? Less busy isn't going to happen. I know people that, I've interviewed people that have retired in their 30s and 40s, like they're financially independent, they're retired, and you think, oh, when I retire, things will be a lot less busy. These people are more busy than ever, but they're busy doing things that they choose to do. You get me? We're reclaiming control over our life. Now, embracing struggle. I've never done this before. I can't believe we're 314 episodes in, and I've never quoted and read a passage from any books. And I'm a book nut. I'm always got my face in a book, or I'm listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts. So I'm actually going to read a passage from a book that I have read every day for the past decade. All right. I've read this book. It's a kind of a daily devotional. It's Napoleon Hill's A Year of Growing Rich. And it's more about growing abundance, not necessarily monetary wealth. So the way this book works, and I'll put a link in the show notes. It'll actually be an Amazon affiliate link. And if you guys, I'm not sure what I get like 3 cents or something like that. But if you use the link in the show notes, I actually will get a kickback from it. And that's a great way you can support the show. So I'll put a direct link in the show notes that, again, is an affiliate link, which I receive compensation from. Just duly noted there. But this book is a daily devotional where you read, it has 52 passages. All right. You read one every day each week, and then you go to the next one the next week. So this is from the week 5, and it is titled "Strength Grows Out of Struggle." So here we go, friends. This is a quote from the book. And I quote, "Struggle is a clever device through which nature compels humanity to develop, expand, and progress. It's either an ordeal or a magnificent experience, depending on one's attitude toward it. Success is impossible, unthinkable even, without it. Life, from birth to death, is literally an unbroken chain of ever-increasing, unavoidable struggle. The education we receive from the struggles we face is cumulative. We get it a little at a time from every experience we encounter. Do the thing, said Emerson, and you shall have the power. Meet struggle and master it, says nature, and you shall have the strength and wisdom sufficient for all your needs." And guys, unquote for a second. This is the best part right here, so get ready. Back to quote. "The strongest trees in the forest aren't those most protected. They are those that must struggle against the elements and other trees and surmount them to survive. My grandfather was a wagon maker. In clearing his land for crops, he always left a few oak trees standing in the open fields where they were exposed to the full force of the blazing sun and blasts of wind. The trees that strained against nature were far stronger and tougher than the protected oaks deep in the forest. It was timber from the trees that had struggled that he used for the wagon wheels, bending them into arc-shaped segments without fear that they would break. Because they had struggled, they had grown strong enough to bear the heaviest loads." End quote. How awesome is that? And there's more there, but I felt good about that reading passage, and I didn't screw too many up. So we're just going to end it right there. But that is what I'm talking about. Like, when the trees that are used to make the wagon wheels are the ones that have had to struggle against nature, because those are the strongest. So we have to quit feeling sorry for ourselves in this victim mindset that life is happening to us, and we have to realize the lessons we can pull out of that. If you just had a terrible situation happen, what lesson can you learn? What lesson can you pull out of that? And we get stronger. It's just like working out. That muscle tissue breaks down. It comes back stronger. So embrace struggle and let go of the victim mindset. That is the first step in this path to reclaim control over our life. The second step, you have to analyze what I refer to as the big 4 areas. This is the first time I've introduced this concept in the podcast. The big 4. Where do you feel in control, and where do you feel out of control? All right, the big 4. I've got health, finances, time, and relationships. Where do you feel out of control with your health? Where do you feel in control? Finances. Where do you feel out of control? Where do you feel in control? Your time. Where do you feel out of control? Where do you feel in control? Your relationships. Where do you feel out of control? Where do you feel in control? And these, just imagine mastering these 4 areas of your life, what that looks like. And that should fire you up. All right. That's the second step, is just analyze and think about these 4 areas. And now we're going to go a little bit deeper. The third step is choose a target improvement area in each of the big four. And then the fourth step in this process is to set up an action step and or a process or a system around the improvement area. So let's go through each one of the four quadrants here, the big four, and talk about target and action steps. So in health, an example, you might want to target your nutrition. Maybe your fitness, you feel like you're in control. You're working out on a regular basis, but your nutrition is terrible. You can't outrun a bad diet on the treadmill. And now you realize that. So that's your target. An action step with some nice accountability. Maybe you hire a coach, a nutrition coach. Maybe you join a group challenge, like an intermittent fasting challenge or a keto challenge group or something like that. But you just need to take action in line with that target of nutrition. Just having the target isn't enough. We have to start throwing darts if we're going to try to hit a bullseye, right? So that's an example with health of identifying that area, having a target area to improve on, and then actually have an action step that we could take within the next 24 hours, right? The second area, finances. Maybe the target is you feel like you're not earning what you're worth. You're saving money for retirement. You feel good about your savings rate, but you feel like you should be getting paid more. A lot of you feel this way, right? A lot of us feel this way. An action step could be, all right, I can control by leveling up my skills, and I can spend X minutes per day implementing in line with that. So maybe this is going back to school. Maybe this is just taking an online course to get a certification, but we chip away at that every single day until it's accomplished. That's the action step. That's us taking control. That's us controlling what we can control instead of waiting for our boss to realize that we're worth more or waiting for our company to just gift us this amazing raise. Go out and control what you can control and say, I'm going to level up my skills. I am going to be so amazing that they are going to have to level up their pay to keep me, right? So example, my wife kind of maxed out her salary as an athletic trainer. She had a master's degree in athletic training. She was working in a clinic, and they told her, like, this is the max we can pay you. So she says, all right, I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna go to physical therapy school. I'm gonna get a doctorate in physical therapy. And she was able to, 2 times her income just by reinvesting and leveling up and controlling what she could control instead of just accepting what other people were telling her. All right, that's a good example. The third area was time. So let's say your target is you have no time to invest in you, no time to invest in me. You feel good about you're out there interacting with your kids and you're doing a lot of sports and you're active in the community, but you feel like you're lacking some you time. That's where you're feeling out of control. So that's our target. An action step. This is a simple one, but it's not easy. Simple, not easy, but it's the main one I recommend when people want to level up in this area. Let's say that you're just super strapped for time. All right. What I want you to do is try this experiment, is go to bed 15 minutes earlier tonight, get up 15 minutes earlier tomorrow, and invest that 15 minutes in you. Now, getting to bed 15 minutes earlier, we can totally control. That is turning Netflix off 15 minutes earlier. And, and that's okay, you time, me time, whatever you want to call it. But let me tell you, you go to bed a little bit earlier, you set that alarm, and you get up 15 minutes earlier, invest that 15 minutes in something that you want to do. Maybe one of these other areas that you're, increasing your education, or maybe you just want to meditate, or you want to work out and improve your health, or just read or whatever. Listen to the Million Pound Mission podcast. I always accept that as an option. But you take that time and invest it in you. And this is so simple. Just try it for one day. Try it for one day. Do a one-day experiment and see what the impact is for you. All right, that's just an example. And then in the fourth area, the relationships, maybe, again, you feel good about your social and work relationships. You're doing good with your peer group, but you feel like you're kind of ignoring your children. You're not connecting with your children. So let's use that as a target example. And an action step you could take in line with this is find something that you're both passionate about and set up a schedule to connect around that. So for example, with my own kids, I definitely have felt this area as lacking, and just figuring out what they're into and what I'm into and where those intersect, and then just doing things regularly, or I have to use a schedule, or it just, my life, all the buffer will suck up my life. So one of these areas is fitness and activity. So For example, my son, Henry, is in third grade. He's really starting to get into basketball. So I coached his team. We had a regular schedule with that. And that was awesome. Awesome connection. Then he wanted to start working out. So we do that twice a week. We do that on Tuesdays and Fridays. We do his strength training sessions. And those are on a schedule. We connect. My daughter is super into like tumbling, dance, gymnastics. So at night before bedtime, we connect in that way where I help her with her handstands. Like she's 4 years old. She can do a one-arm cartwheel. And she's not built like a gymnast. Like she's going to be very tall. She's kind of built like a linebacker right now. She's like this buff chick with really, really long legs. And she can do one-arm cartwheels and handstands. And she's 4. I'm super impressed by this. Proud dad moment. But, so you have to figure out the relationship that you want to improve. And maybe with another area that I'm really, just an example from my life that I'm really looking to improve on is just keeping up with friends that I've made. I'm good at making friends, but I get just driven forward by my life and whatever I'm focusing on. And all of a sudden I'm like, damn, it's been 5 years since I've talked to that person. So on Fridays, it's kind of a friendship Friday routine for me where I try to connect with somebody. I try to use like a Zoom chat, video conference. And I'm like, hey, let's get on there and just catch up for 30 minutes. And it's been amazing. All right. I know a lot of us fall into that category where life has just hit fast forward. And all of a sudden, like, man, I haven't talked to that person. They were in my wedding. I haven't talked to them in a decade. Things like that happen. And it just kind of blows my mind. So a little thing like that, if you want to level up your relationships, that's a great way to do it. Okay. Quick recap here before we check out. So the 4 areas, again, number 1, embrace struggle and let go of that victim mindset. Number 2, you have to analyze the big 4 areas: health, finance, time, and relationships. Then we have to choose a target improvement area in each of the big 4. Like really look at that big high impact area. Where can you do the most damage in a good way in each area? And then the 4th step is set up an action step you can take in the next 24 hours, or set up a process you can implement or start implementing in the next 24 hours and start making improvements, right? So again, if you are feeling like you're that person that doesn't have their hands on the steering wheel, we can grab hold of that sucker. It's going to be hard. We might have to fight it a little bit, but just getting started is the key. We have to stop living our lives passively and reclaim control over our health, our finances, our time, and our relationships. And that, my friends, is how we get out there and own it every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode. Well, hey there, good looking. I want to say thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Million Pound Mission podcast. And I've got a favor to ask you. If this episode made an impact for you, would you share it out with one person? Help me spread the message of the Million Pound Mission and add some fuel to the fire of our goal to achieve 1 million pounds of amazing results. And speaking about that 1 million pounds, if you haven't gone to millionpoundmission.com lately and donated your weight loss, please do it or I'll never reach my goal. So head on over to millionpoundmission.com, donate that weight, and spread the word that we are on a 1 million pound mission together.